Hello YouTube fans. Today I am going to review the Toy Biz Apocolypse series. Who we have here? We have Bishop, Iron Fist, Wolverine, the Hulk, X-23, and Sasquatch. Okay. Looking at this figure, I really love it. I really like to collect the bigger figures. As I start to do more reviews, I will show you some of my bigger figures. But the reason I got this, I just picked it up at the Pittsburgh Toy Convention in Monroeville. So, I just wanted to show it. The reason why I got it is I picked it up for the Apocolypse itself. Like I said, I love the bigger figures. So I'm going to go over each figure and pretty much show the difference, where they can move, how they move, the articulation points, and some of the weaker points of the figures themselves. So we're going to start with X-23 here. I'm not really happy with her. Her head seems to be down all the time. When you try to pull it up, you feel like you're going to break her. She just doesn't seem to be put together well. If you don't have her claws extended on her feet, she won't stand. If you try to stand her up, she kind of falls forward. Her claws they're pretty flimsy on here, like I said, but out of all the figures, she's the weakest one. Her joints move. They're pretty tight, but if you look at her hands, it just seems so fragile, like they really want to pop off. If you extend them too much, there seems to be a gap in her. Same on this one too. At the hip, she has good swivel. At the chest, she does not. Well, she does a little bit, but not very much. Like I said, she really feels like she's going to break every time you try to move or manipulate her. Her knees, the hips, she has good flexion and extension. But like I said, even moving her feet, it feels like they're going to break every time I move her. So, like I said, I'm not a fan, but you got to think, this came out. This is one of the Toy Biz line to come a long way to where we are now. Looking at that, and even on her face, it just doesn't look. She doesn't look well done at all, in my opinion. So, moving on to Iron Fist. He's a great figure. He has really good extension, flexion. He doesn't feel like he's going to break. You really feel like you can really get a pull on him. His head has been able to manipulate up and down. At the hips and knees, nice and tight. Feet, and even on his toes, they actually can manipulate. Now he can stand really well, and you can pretty much move him a lot of different ways. And he doesn't want to move at all. He does come with some accessories to go to his hands. I just didn't put them in the video because I was trying to get this up and running pretty quick. But that's about it. But this is a good figure. I like everything about him. All right. Now we got the new movie out, but this is an older figure. The cape comes off. It actually kind of holds him up pretty well, but because he always wants to fall on display. But him, he's not as sturdy as Iron Fist, but he does stand pretty well. He does have good flexion and extensions in the shoulders and in the wrist. His hands are posable. But as I was saying with X-23, these don't feel like they're going to fall off on him or her. On him or Iron Fist. But on her, like I said, it looks like it really does feel like it's going to come off. And I don't know if it's just a bad figure or what. But if you look at him, he looks really good. He has good flexion in all points. His hips are not as flexible as Iron Fist, but you know he's not as flexible as Iron Fist in the movies either, or the cartoon. So if you can look at him, he can get him in pretty good. You know, you can get him pretty good thing. Now, getting into Wolverine, good figure, great figure. It really looks good. I like the way they done him. I like how they have the mask pulled back, like he's done in battle. And if you can look at the difference in his claws and hers, his seems to have a purpose. Hers don't seem to have a purpose. In his wrists, oh yeah, it has great action figure, and I really feel like I could pull on this figure and it's not going to break. His head, up, down, shoulders. A lot of rotation in them. Hips, chest. I can pretty much feel like I can move him without breaking him, and I'm actually pushing him pretty hard. Everything is good with him. Everything's tight. The hips really can go out, and he stands pretty well, depending how you want to get him. You know, it takes a little time to get everything together, but he stands pretty well. Now that I said that, he's not going to stand. Just a great figure. I like the facial expressions. I like everything about him. He's really good. They didn't come in with any accessories. Now, got Bishop. Another great X-Men. I mean, if you just look at him, the expression, everything in him is great. Let's take a second to look at him all the way around. Everything looks great. He comes with 2 guns. Shotgun. Futuristic gun. He is sturdy. He has really good movement in him. And he, like I said, he is sturdy. You know, he's not going to break. He moves his head up and down, side to side. It's really good. His chest, his good flexion down to the side, over and over. His waist, good flexion. His hips, good flexion. Everything's tight. And in his knees, everything's tight. His feet are really tight. He doesn't have that, well, he does actually, but it's really tight. Well, they go up a little bit. Let me go down. That's to get him in whatever pose you want. But this is a really good tight figure. Poses really well. And he just looks good. I just love this figure. His eyes really go right through you. So, you know, if overall, this lot, I picked it up for $150, which is a great steal for everything. It might have been a little bit cheaper than that. So, and there's a couple variants that I have, and I'll go over that in a moment. But here we go. I collect a lot of Hulk figures, and I'll start reviewing them as we go through, as I start reviewing a little bit more. This is my first review video. This is Mephisto, and he is a bruiser. He's very solid. He's almost like the Selects now, and this is before the Selects came out. And if you look at him, he has good flexion. He has a wing that comes out here to give him more flexion in his arms. His head moves. He has a flexion in here, but he doesn't have that chest gap that you have in other spots. But he doesn't have it. But he does have a good swivel in his hips. Now in his hands, he has what the other ones don't. He has able to grip and kind of curl there. But on both hands, he has I got to show this. His great bald head that actually sets him apart from all the rest of the Hulks. Actually, And if you look at his feet, he has his pants. His hips don't flex out too far, or up, but they do. But he has good flexion in his legs, this way, an extension. Same in the feet, he has good, and everything's nice and tight. I think you might even be able to hear it click. But there he is. I think this is my favorite one. I really love that character. And the stories and everywhere. This is actually one of the main reasons why I picked it up, is for this figure here. And just a great figure all the way around. Second, the last one is Wendigo. Now, it's a heck of a figure, and he has a lot of flexibility on him too. If you look at his head, he has a great profile, just all the way around. Love it. He really looks good. Now this is the variant. The other ones come in a brown, and Iron Fist comes in a different color too. I believe it's a yellow. And this one is, I think it's a little rarer than the brown one. It's harder to get. But if you look at him, he has total flexion of the up and down. You can turn to the side. He has a separate part where his arms, makes his arms extend this way. The Hulk's came out this way, but this one's come back that way. It gives him more flexion in the shoulders to swipe, to swing. Just like the Hulk, he has a closable hand. Not as much as the Hulk. The Hulk actually has closes on his fingers a little bit more than this, but this is pretty good. He can actually do a split. The Hulk couldn't. He can come up. He has flexion, rotation, flexion. His feet. And he's easy to stand. He's a big, nice figure. A great figure. And just looking at him, his facial expressions are great. Looks like he's looking right to you. You turn him around. Nice figure. Now, the reason why I bought the whole set, was actually for this. If you look at him, here he is. Apocolypse. I was trying to get him for a while, and I didn't. I was going to spend the money and get him, but then that's, just him separate. Him separate, he costs over $100, but to pick the whole set up for $150 was super. You see, he has a nice and tight in the chest. He has arms rotate. Everything is tight in this. They go up and down. His arms flex up, down, up, down. His head goes up, can come down, turn side to side, limited. If you get it up a little bit, limited there. And his legs. And his feet also bend as the rest of them. Now if you turn them around, most of the ones that I was trying to buy separate, like I saw them at the different toy shows, I don't know what that is here, but most of the ones I saw at the toy shows, they were missing this part here. And then, trying to find those parts actually cost just as much as, buying a whole figure. So like I said, when I was able to pick this up, the whole set for $150, it was something I just jumped on. This is a great figure. And I just want everyone to see. If you look, you can find the deals. This was a deal. $150 for the whole set. Can't beat it. This is Bay signing off. If you have any questions, feel free to ask at the bottom, and please subscribe. Thank you.